and welcome to the Greekish Life on YouTube. Today we're talking with someone who's not just teaching Greek, he's making it a trend around the world. Alexandros Boukouvalas is the founder of Greek Language Academy and a social media star with over 80,000 followers on different platforms, learning Greek one reel at a time. We're going to be diving into some language, some culture, a few little fun surprises. So if you've ever dreamed of learning Greek or just love Greece in general, like a lot of us do, stick around. Alex, welcome. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself before we dive into the meat of what you do at Greek Language Academy?
Hi, Barbara. I'm super glad that we are doing this together. Well, where should I start from? It all started basically 10 years ago with me giving private lessons as a Greek teacher. I was back in the university. I had the need to teach the language, not just study it. And that was super nice, super interesting, and kind of with the time scaled up to the Greek Language Academy.
Fantastic. And you're from, where are you from in Greece?
I am from Larissa, Greece. For those who do not know where Larissa is, think of my palm as the mainland of Greece. It's somewhere here, 2 hours from Thessaloniki, 3.5 from Athens.
And are you still there, or are you in Athens or somewhere else now? Where are you located generally?
Basically, I studied in Thessaloniki, and after my studies there, I moved to Berlin for my master's. This is where I had my master's degree, and this is where I kind of stayed. So yes, basically, I'm now based in Berlin, but I'm back and forth, like I'm traveling more than 5 times to Greece per year, and
oh wow,
for a period of time. It's time, yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, cool. So like you said, you started about a decade ago. What was it that really sparked the passion for you to set out on a project like this?
It's interesting because I have always wanted to become a teacher. I didn't want to become a football player. I didn't want to become a star or something. I always said that I want to become a teacher, and I have the luck to be one. So yeah, like my goal was almost from day one, like to promote the Greek language and the Greek culture. And being in Germany, I felt even more the need to be Greek in some sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is how it felt. So I decided to start teaching the Greek language, and it kind of scaled up from there.
Was there a moment where you thought you went from, okay, this is kind of something I'm doing casually, and then you realized, oh, this has become bigger than I thought it was going to be? At what point did it happen organically like that? Was there a moment when you thought, oh, this is a big thing now? This is what I really want to do.
It was the need of me to reach more people, actually. So this is why I decided to go also on social media. I had quite many students on one-on-ones, on private groups, or on small groups. And at some point I said, okay, people do love Greece. They do love Greek culture. They also have to learn the language, because the experience, just by learning a little bit of the language, it's going to be completely different. So that was my primary goal when I said, okay, let's go on social media. Let's put the word out there, the Greek Language Academy, and let's see what's going to be the impact out of it.
Fantastic. What was it, when you started, what was the biggest challenge you faced? Because usually when you're getting a new project off the ground, there's always, generally unexpected things that come your way that you hadn't seen coming. Was there a particular challenge? Was it, or did it happen really very smoothly for you?
When I started teaching privately, that was a challenge because, as I said, I was based in Germany. So my primary students were German speakers. My German at that time wasn't that good. So I had to practice a lot, not to teach Greek. Like that was kind of came naturally to me, but like I had to kind of find the words in German. Now, when I decided to build the Greek Language Academy, I think it's kind of the same for pretty much everyone who starts on doing social media. It was the stress to be in front of the camera. So if you scroll back down in my profile, you will see that the first posts were just statics. I was nowhere to be seen. Then the moment I started showing my face, I wouldn't speak on the in the camera. But then you have like to kind of shake it off and start speaking in front of the camera. And the moment I did that, I kind of never looked back because it came
Mhm.
naturally. I didn't have to think or overthink what I'm gonna say or do it twice.
Yeah, well, you're so natural in front of the camera, so that makes sense. I know what you mean because when I first started the Greekish Life, I would only allow photos of myself like in sunglasses. I did not want to be in front of the camera, and it really held me back because I wanted to do interviews. And I thought, well, like, I don't want to just do the podcast situation, so I had to get over it. It's not my most comfortable position, but I'm getting better at it. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think you're doing
Um,
great.
oh well, thank you. Thanks. You're only my third interview, so thanks for your patience. Um, do you remember your very first student or your very first viral post?
I remember with my very first student, she was a
Hmm.
girl, like in private lessons now.
Hmm.
She was a girl, she visited Crete. She kind of fell in love with the Cretan guy there, and she decided to learn the language. So we started having lessons. We had the first lesson, the second one, they both went super smoothly. But in the third one, she came to the lesson and she started crying. And I was like, why? What happened? So like, yeah, I told him, I wrote him that I'm going back to Crete, and he said, "Hey, please don't come. I am engaged."
Ah,
So, yeah, indeed.
unbelievable.
So the third lesson wasn't actually a language lesson; it was more like a therapy session, and that's how the first the story with the first student goes down. Yeah, when it comes now to Greek Language Academy, I don't really remember the first one that kind of got traction because
Hmm.
everything happened quite fast. The
Hmm.
moment I start showing my face, the moment I start talking and engaging more with the people, they loved it, they liked it. So
Yeah.
it built up pretty quickly. So I won't say that I have like a video or a post that went immediately viral, but
Hmm.
it was the whole, let's say, movement that kind of went viral.
So it was a slow and steady process. It just kind of picked up steam as you went along.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
indeed.
awesome. Um, what is oh yeah, are most of your students brand new to the language, or are they people who maybe like me used to speak it, have forgotten a lot of it, and are trying to relearn it? Or would you say what is the balance of people who come to you for teaching?
It's quite mixed, I would say.
Hmm.
Have people who start learning language as their second language, as I say, like they have their mother tongue and they decide to learn a foreign language and they go for
Hmm.
Greek immediately, not
Hmm.
German, French, Spanish. They decide, okay, I love Greece, I will go for Greek.
Hmm.
We have also the people that they love learning languages. So maybe Greek is like their third or fourth even language.
Hmm.
And then you have people who want to reconnect with their roots, maybe they're second generation, third generation Greeks, and they
Hmm.
kind of missed out the chance of learning it when they grew up, like growing up bilingual, and they decide, hey, now it's the time to reconnect. We also have the people who just visit regularly Greece and they decide that,
Hmm.
hey, I'm going to learn the language. Or people who fall in love, as we
Hmm.
said, uh, with Greeks or Greece in general, and they say, okay, maybe it's my time now to learn Greek. It's interesting. It's a mix, and it kind of changes. Now we have also many people who want to relocate to Greece, and they want to
Hmm.
learn the language so they can navigate, or they need to learn the language for work purposes. So
Hmm.
I would say it's a beautiful and colorful mix.
Fantastic. And are they international? Do you have are most of your students from Europe, or are they from everywhere?
They are from the whole world. Like we, like on social media, you have like these worldwide reach, I would say.
Hmm.
But I would say that the main followers and students are basically from the USA, Canada, Australia, the
Hmm.
UK, and then Europe. So this is, we would say, where you have also a big Greek diaspora.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Um, you talked about people who travel to Greece a lot. What if somebody had never been to Greece? They had 1 month. They're leaving in 1 month, and they knew nothing of the language. What three phrases would you insist that they learn before they go?
So that's quite interesting because I came back yesterday from France. I was there for a
Hmm.
week and I didn't speak not even a word of French before going there. So
Hmm.
I felt the need to just say the basics. Like you're in a
Mhm.
different in a different country, you kind of want to experience the new food, but like why not also experiencing saying something in that
Yeah.
language? So it's interesting because I put a challenge on myself to learn something new in this
Hmm.
language and be conversational in 5 days. It sounds
Wow.
like a huge challenge, but if you kind of approach it in a structured way, it can be possible. So my very first thing would be to learn the greetings, to learn
Hmm.
Kalimera, good morning,
Hmm.
Kalispera, good evening, Καλό βράδυ or Kalinichta, good night, because even by saying Kalimera to a Greek,
Hmm.
you will immediately see a huge smile spreading across their faces
Hmm.
because they are super welcoming. And if you do try, you don't have to be perfect. If you try a
Hmm.
little bit, to say something small in the language, even with mistakes, the way that they will receive you and the way
Yeah.
that you will experience Greece, it's going to be completely different. So, of course, like starting with the greetings, maybe with how are you, good,
Hmm.
bad,
Hmm.
etiquette. Uh, so these are the basics that you kind of have to start in each language. And this is also what I did last week, and it worked
Hmm.
out at the end of the week.
Good, good. Yeah. I found on my first trip back to Greece as an adult, I was a big gap of time where I was not really speaking it at all. And I was so bad at it. I felt so bad for my poor relatives in Samos who had to listen to me struggle through it. But I've been practicing and I've gotten better. But even just talking to cab drivers or shopkeepers in Greek, and they're so thrilled, when you even just make the effort. And like I said, I've gotten better at it now, but I'm nowhere near fluent. But they're just so welcoming and so not judgmental. That's been my
Yes,
experience, and I think that's been a lot of people's experience with trying to speak Greek in Greece. So yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a language that, even though it might be, some people might say, oh my gosh, it's a very hard language. I think it's one that you don't have to stress about getting wrong.
sure.
Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. And I wouldn't rely just on what might people say. Like, of course,
Hmm.
the Greek language is not, let's say, the easiest one, but it's a super
Hmm.
structured one. The moment
Hmm.
it makes click in your head, how is this language structured? You just have to put a little bit more of your work there. So I wouldn't just
Hmm.
rely on saying, oh, Greek is a difficult language. Just give it a try. Why not? And
Hmm.
we learn through mistakes. Like, this is also something that I always tell my students regarding grammar, right? Think of the language as a card game. The very
Hmm.
first thing that you ask if someone comes and tells you, let's play the game, what it's going to be. You're going to ask, what are the rules of the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same goes with language. Which rules? The grammar rules. But someone explains you, you play this card after that one, and at some point
Hmm.
you say, I think I got it. Let's
Hmm.
play, I will get even better. And the
Hmm.
same goes with languages. You kind of
Yeah.
have a notion of how the language works,
Hmm.
but you have to play the game. You have to practice. And at the
Right.
beginning, you're not going to be good at the game. You will get better by playing. And exactly
Yeah.
the same with languages. Just speak. Don't be afraid of the mistakes. And at the end of the day, mistakes are badges of honor for speaking another language other than our mother tongue. So it's quite personal and objective if the language is difficult or not. I would just
Hmm.
suggest everyone to give it a try.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree. Um, so you've really leaned into short form content online and so forth, Instagram Reels and TikTok. You're on TikTok, right? As well?
Also, yes.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think makes teaching Greek in that format so effective?
So that's an interesting question, actually. Um, we know that the platforms have their own, how do we say, guidelines, what we can post, how long the format can be. So we kind of
Hmm.
comply with that. But I think that if you want to be, let's say, to have an impact on social media, you have to be authentic or you have to just present you.
Hmm.
I think teaching in that way, like teaching also got this firm now. I think after the pandemic, people got a
Hmm.
little bit more exposed to digital and online learning or
Hmm.
e-learning, and that kind of made things a little bit more organic for me as well, and for
Hmm.
Greek Language Academy. Um, if you want to be, let's say, to grab the attention of the student, you have to keep it simple, you have to keep it
Hmm.
short, maybe a little bit funny or a little
Hmm.
bit but the most important thing is for it to be valuable. Like
Yeah.
someone who gives now his 30 seconds, his 1 minute,
Hmm.
he has to get something back. So
Yeah.
I always try in my videos to to have a mix of it, like to give value for sure, to entertain a little bit. Why not?
Hmm.
Life doesn't have to be that serious all the time, like a school book. And I think this is how we navigate all teachers now, not just me, on social
Hmm.
media.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think in a weird way, one of the silver linings of the pandemic was sort of giving birth to this idea of online learning as such a much more valid and much more used method than had been before the pandemic. Um, was there something about e-teaching that surprised you when you started? Was there a learning curve that you thought, oh, I have to rethink, sort of rejigger my head around how to do this? Is there something that you needed to adjust?
Like for me at the beginning was like the challenge of when I was teaching online was for me to sit there and talk to someone and grab the attention for this person for like an hour if it
Hmm.
when we talk about one-on-one lessons, for example.
Hmm.
I didn't know how it will be, but surprisingly enough, it worked perfectly fine. I think
Mm,
also the younger generations now, they are exposed to electronics so early in their lives that
sure.
it's kind of more natural for them
Hmm.
and maybe even more engaging than just sitting next to them with a book and something
Hmm.
written on it. I try to integrate a lot of pictures in my lessons, also the self-paced ones, a lot of animations to make it a little bit more interesting. So I would
Hmm.
say that the challenge at the beginning was grabbing the attention, but also
Hmm.
for me, like sitting there and like talking to a screen
Hmm.
without the person not being next to me.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, it works. It works, and this is how the path that education now kind of goes.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been following you on Instagram for probably over a year now, and you are so engaging and fun with your social media, and especially when social media can feel kind of impersonal. Um, and I think you really do create a sense of connection with your students and followers. When you're doing your classes, um, how do you? I want to phrase this. Do you have like Greek 101 and then 102 and so forth? How do you organize the grades, if you will, of learning when you're doing it online like that?
So first, like when we have like a new student, we have to see what is the level of the student,
Hmm.
uh, and we kind of plan it accordingly. I would say that a good teacher, I want to think that I am a good teacher,
Yeah.
has to adapt his lesson according to each student,
Hmm.
um, especially in the one-on-one. Some people are stronger in one field, some others are not. So you kind of have to be flexible and to
Hmm.
adapt your teaching to that one. Greek Language Academy now has two self-paced Greek online courses, basically, and I structured those according to the European framework for language learning. So when
Hmm.
it comes to languages, you have different levels. You have the A level, which splits in A1, A2, B level, B1, B2, and the C level. So this is how the European framework says that language should be learned. And
Hmm.
each level has its own grammar, vocabulary that has to be learned if
Hmm.
someone later wants to do the exam for the certificate. So I always try to follow the European framework for language learning because I also want to give the option to my students, if they want, to get certified in the language. Why not? I mean,
I was
they
gonna.
spend
I
a lot of
use.
time there.
Yeah, you mentioned certification. I thought, oh wow, that's a step I didn't even realize you did. So that's pretty great. How long are your classes? If somebody were to see this video and say, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool," um, tell us how they would go about signing up and what the process would be, how long the classes are, how often a week or a month.
So basically now I'm trying to scale up Greek Language Academy. So I don't have time for one-on-ones for private lessons,
Hmm.
but I invested all of my time in those self-paced Greek courses.
Hmm.
That means that you can study whenever you want, wherever you are. This is also, I would say, something, I wouldn't call it the epitome of Greek language learning, but it was
Mm-hmm.
something, let's say, quite new and quite original
Mm-hmm.
at the time that I brought it out in the, let's say, market. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, you get the course and you can study whenever you want, wherever you are. It's tailored to your own needs and schedule. The only thing that you need is an internet connection. I try
Mm-hmm.
to put the videos in a bite-sized, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
videos that you can watch and rewatch as many times as you want, 5-time videos, 10-time videos, so you don't feel overwhelmed. So even
Right.
on your way to work, even if you commute to work, let's say for 30 minutes, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to scroll on Instagram, you want to invest in yourself and in your goal of speaking the language, you can do it. This is how I try to make Greek accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to say, okay, it's Tuesday, 5 o'clock, I have a lesson, but I also don't feel good about it, or my child
Yeah.
is sick and
Yeah.
I'm stuck in traffic. So yeah, like with the Greek self-paced courses, you can actually learn whenever you want, wherever you are.
Fantastic. Do you have a staff, or are you a like a one-man operation?
I started as a solopreneur. By
Mm-hmm.
now, Greek Language Academy is expanding. I have the
Mm-hmm.
luck of working with a beautiful team, which takes care of the technical side of it and the logistics. And
Mm-hmm.
our goal is to scale up Greek Language Academy, of course, to reach out as many people as we can who are interested in the Greek language and the Greek culture.
Fantastic. Um, what do you see coming up? You say you're scaling up. What is coming up next? Are there any particular projects or any directions you'd like to go in with Greek Language Academy?
So we have the A1 and the A2 courses, and in the
Mm-hmm.
pipeline we have now the B1. We hope that we will launch this September.
Ah,
Uh, yes, indeed,
cool.
and we have many more projects in our heads that we have to put them down and like realize them.
Mm-hmm.
One of my goals now is like to do the same also for the German language, because if you follow Greek Language
Ah,
Academy, it's Greek English.
mm-hmm.
Since I've been living here in Germany for a long time, my goal now is to do the same as a Greek Language Academy.de, the German version, and to bring out the courses in the German language too. And for the next year, hopefully, we will be able to offer some immersion language trips where people can come to Greece, have their vacation, but also take the most out of it in the sense of learning the language too. And believe me, the experience is going to be completely different than booking an all-inclusive hotel.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, how fun would it be to have like a Greek language retreat? Like you have stay in some little fabulous place, and then you have your classes, or you go to into the town and you speak the language with, you
With
know,
people, with
shopkeepers or
natives, like
whatever.
have some workshops. Like we have beautiful ideas, me and the team, and so hopefully we will be able to announce more stuff in the months to come.
Oh my gosh, that'll be so exciting. I'm gonna keep a very close eye out on those because that sounds super fun. I noticed that I'm talking to some of the other folks that I've interviewed or just people that I follow online. Retreats and things like that, sort of short-term immersive situations, are very popular. I think they're kind of like, first of all, they're fun. They're part vacation, but you're also getting something out of it. So yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on
Sure,
your
we'll
upcoming
let you
plans for that
know.
because that sounds super cool. Um, okay, so is there anything else specifically? Oh no, I did have a question about well, we kind of covered this. In 5 years in the future, ideally, what would you like to see Greek Language Academy doing? But it sounds like we kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah,
Immersion and
indeed,
German
indeed.
language version and but is there
Like my
anything
goal
else?
for Greek Language Academy is, of course, to be the learning hub for learning Greek and the Greek culture. So I want to keep doing what I'm doing, keep
Mm-hmm.
putting more of my energy and time in the Greek Language Academy, and make it the number one name. Not on social media. It's not about the following in social media, but I want, like, if someone wants to learn the language, if someone wants to connect a little bit more with Greece, I want that Greek Language Academy pops up in their mind because it's
Yep.
like a safe place, a nice place, an
Hmm.
organized place with experience that can help
Hmm.
them achieve this goal as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm sure you'll do it. I have no doubt.
Thank
You
you.
do
Thank you
so
very much.
well, even with the social media stuff. I have no doubt you'll achieve that. Um, so pivoting a little bit, you seem to live and breathe Greek language and culture, but is there something that's very un-Greek about you? For example, I um, I like efficient customer service. So, and I know that's not always like number one thing in, I bureaucracy stresses me out. Customer service is very important. So that's a very un-Greek thing about me. What about you? Is there anything that you could say, okay, maybe not so much?
From the top of my mind, and after living almost 10 years now in Germany, I would say that I became quite punctual. Like
Ah,
I don't like wasting time that much,
yep.
and I respect the time of others. I respect my time as
Hmm.
well. So I would say I became quite punctual. And
Hmm.
in Greece, punctuality is not like our biggest tattoo. We're not
That's true.
so good in that. You say, "Hey, I'm gonna be there in 5 minutes," and you start going into the shower at that moment. So
Yeah.
this is something that I would say it's not typical Greek about me. Like I respect the time of others and my time as well.
Yeah, that bleeds in a little bit more about the efficiency, punctuality. It's similar. Um, what's your favorite hard to translate word or a Greek word or phrase? One that just feels good to say. Is there something that's just like, this is my favorite Greek word
There are
or
some
phrase?
nice words. There are some nice words. Some of them do have translations. One
Hmm.
of those that it's not that easy to translate is philotimo. Uh,
Yes.
Philotimo. Some people say meraki, but I have
Hmm.
to displease some of those who say meraki because it's not a Greek word. It comes actually from Turkish. But my favorite word that we cannot actually translate one to one is philotimo. Is when you do something with passion and with respect to
Hmm.
yourself and to the others. And I do like this language, this word a lot. And it's kind of one of my, let's say, core values when it comes to
Hmm.
work.
Yeah, I wrote an article on the Greekish Life about philotimo. And yours is much more noble than mine because my one of my favorite most used Greek words is hade. Because I am I'm an impatient person and I live in Boston, Massachusetts, which is a notorious place for bad drivers and impatient drivers. So I say that a lot when I'm
Hadi, hadi,
driving.
hadi.
So hade is something you hear from me a lot. So yours was much more noble and proper. Um, is there a Greek word or phrase that just doesn't translate well into English? Not so
Hmm.
much like that we don't have a direct translation for, but I'm thinking, for example, um, it's like some really just juicy words and phrases that don't translate well. I'm
We
thinking,
use,
for example, I'm
yeah,
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, go on, go on. I want an
No,
example.
I'm thinking about like the hilariously violent things grandparents say to keep their grandkids in line, like "Tasefao" or
Acefal,
"Tafaxilo" and stuff like that.
Afastilo, exactly.
So I
It,
think about those things. So like you can't translate those. You sound insane. So I'm just wondering if there are any particularly juicy Greek phrases that you like that are hard to translate.
there are some good ones. There are some good
Yeah.
ones, of course. And now also with the newer generation, you have a lot of slang as well
Hmm.
in the language. But we do have nice expressions. I was also thinking of tafas xilo,
Yep.
and the finger pointing on the palm, like what does it? Tigrafia though, what does it say here?
Ah, yeah,
Xilo.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, and it kind of feels that we all grew up in the same household, uh,
yeah.
but we also have expressions like when you don't go into, let's say, a place or a club, efara porta, I ate a door, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting thing to say, but if you translate it one to one, it
Hmm.
doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
And this is also something nice about language learning. It kind of
Hmm.
expands your horizons, expands the way that you can express yourself. And by just learning a little bit of the language, you can also understand the other person a little bit better.
Hmm. Yeah, it's that's one of the fun things is once you get past the basics of a language and you start getting into the idioms and the fun phrases and stuff. Um, what is one piece of advice that you'd give to someone who's just starting out learning Greek, or really any language, but like just a generic um, bit of advice that you would say, okay, you're starting this, here's what you ought to know.
Do not hesitate. Do not hesitate to speak from day one. Like
Mm,
honestly, um, your pronunciation doesn't have to be perfect. Your grammar doesn't have to be perfect, but just speak. Like
mhm,
test what you learned.
mhm,
And just by doing those mistakes, you will learn them. The mistakes are not there to tell us, oh, you're a bad person or oh, you're not that
mhm,
bright. The
mhm,
mistake is there only for you to know where I have to focus a little bit more next time. So
mhm.
if someone points out a mistake, at the end of the day, say thank you to this person and say, okay, good. Thanks for noticing. I will try my best next time. So
Mhm.
because many people are hesitant to speak just by the fear of making mistakes. The
Yeah.
mistakes are for us to judge. It's nobody else's business.
Exactly. And like we talked about before, if you're going to make mistakes, make them in Greece. It's just they're people are just so easy about it for the most part. So
supportive,
um,
supportive as well,
I'm sorry.
and super supportive about it as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think one of the really charming things about Greek culture is how easy it is to get into a Greek person's heart. If you just do something sincere, if you sincerely love any part of the culture, the food, the language, the music, anything about it, you're just like, oh, we'll write you into the will. It's really a
Indeed,
charming part of the culture.
we talk a lot about Greek hospitality,
Hmm.
but it is indeed a thing. Like the Greek hospitality, something different, I would say. Like you go even to an Airbnb, like in a smaller place, you say something Greek or you greet someone, they will
Hmm.
come the next day. They will bring you tomatoes from their garden,
Yes.
eggs from their chickens, something that they made like a breads for you to taste. They're so open, so genuine,
Yeah.
and I don't like the very touristic places. Let's be honest.
Hmm.
We have some of those in Greece as well. We're not an exception, but
Hmm.
when it comes to hospitality, I think we get an A+ there.
100%. I can't believe you said eggs and little breads because a couple of years ago I stayed in Redimnon in Crete at an Airbnb, and the gentleman came by one day and he had 6 eggs from his family's chickens hanging in a bag on my front door. The next day he said, "Oh, are you going to be home? Yeah, okay. I'll bring back some. I think they're called. I may be wrong. Kaltsunakia or something like that. They're like a
Calzunaka, of
yeah,
course.
little delicious cheese bun things." He says, "My mother made them this morning." So I'm like, well, where else are you going to find that? I mean, that's just such a lovely um hospitable thing. And that's happened in a couple of other places, but that's the one that really sticks out is when you said eggs and bread. Okay, so now we're before we finish up, I just want to we'll play a little game. We talked about maybe doing a lightning round just to get to know you a little bit better.
Hmm.
There's no wrong answers. You get to choose between two things. So,
Awesome.
um,
Let's
are
do
you
it.
ready? Okay. Mainland or islands?
Islands.
Islands. Okay. Are there particular islands that you love best or
I'm gonna cheat here a little bit, and I will choose Crete. It's the
hmm
biggest Greek island, so it
hmm
combines the island vibe with the amenities of the mainland. Because let's be
hmm
honest, we do see Greece mainly in summer with the beautiful stories and pictures, but
hmm
in winter they do exist as well, and the life there is quite slower and different. So
hmm
that's why I would go with Crete because it's a bigger island. It has a good infrastructure. It has university and young people. So I will definitely say Crete. It's one of my favorite islands in Greece.
I agree. It's one of my favorites too. I've been trying to get there for quite a few years, and I finally did a couple of years ago, and then went back last year. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I heard from a couple of different Cretan people saying we live on an island, but we consider ourselves mountain people because the mountains are such an enormous part of the culture. And you said winter destinations, they ski there in
Yes, we
in
do.
in the winter. So yeah, I love Crete. It's amazing. Moussaka or pastizo?
Pasticcio.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
second
yeah.
thoughts, pasticcio.
Okay, I do love both, but I will never say no to pastizo. Greece in the spring or Greece in the autumn?
Oh, that's a good question. I would go with Greece in spring. I
Hmm.
love Greece all year round because people
Hmm.
think that Greece is just a summer destination. Guys, it's not. You
Right,
can travel
right.
throughout the year, all 4 seasons, and you will find amazing activities and places to visit and things to do. I would just go for spring, maybe because the weather gets a little bit better, but basically autumn is also great, right? Like
Hmm.
it doesn't get cold in Greece till maybe January. Like where the actual cold starts. It's
Right.
nice, right? So maybe I
Hmm.
will just go for spring, which is the vibe is a little bit more vibrant.
Yeah. Um, I swore off going to Greece in the summer many years ago because I just can't deal with that heat anymore, which is a shame because Greek summer is a vibe and it's great, but I prefer summer and fall myself. I mean spring and fall. I love spring because all the wildflowers are out, right? The poppies and the sparta and all the
Yes.
beautiful wildflowers are everywhere. Water's still a little bit cold for swimming, at least for a cupcake like me who likes warm. But and then in the fall, I really like it because the water is warm enough for swimming for sure. It's still kind of summery, but it's not as crowded. And all the delicious fruit is starting to come. The figs and
Yes.
the
The
grapes
grapes.
from
Yes.
Corinth and all the, oh, it's so good. So spring and fall is really when I love to go. I've never been in winter yet, and I maybe one of these days, but I have not been in the winter time yet.
It's great in winter as well. Like in fall, it's let's say the season ends where everything
Hmm.
kind of slows down, but
Hmm.
it's warm enough if you want to go swimming till the end of September, no issues at all. But what you said in spring, maybe at the beginning it's a little bit cold if you want to go
Hmm.
swimming. But like for the scenery, the landscape, and
Oh
everything
yeah.
all year around.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, this you can't really go wrong. Is I when people ask me, well, when should I go? Well, you can go whenever you like, but know what you're expecting, know what you're getting into. Like if you want to go to Santorini in August, you may not enjoy it as much as you think you're going to. That's just my take
No,
on
I
it.
totally agree.
Yeah, do what you want, but know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
Um, Uso or Tsipuro?
Uzo. Uzo because
Uso.
I like the anise. Cipro,
Mm-hmm.
it's too much for me. I'm not a big alcohol guy, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to those two, it's Uzo for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm not a big spirits person. I'm more of a wine girl, but I love a glass of ouzo if I'm at a taverna with some fresh seafood overlooking the water. But you know what's weird? I don't enjoy it at home. I buy ouzo to have in the house, and sometimes I'll cook with it. But I try to enjoy a glass like I would in Greece, and it just is not the same.
It
I
doesn't
need
have
the
the same
Aegean.
effect, right?
I need the Aegean.
It's the
Um,
idea, and it's a same thing to share, like with
yeah,
friends, like a nice vibe, maybe a tavernaki
yeah,
somewhere.
exactly, exactly. I mean, I'll drink tipura because that's what people will give you when you come to their house, and I drink it, but it's not something you know, I drink it out of politeness. Um, okay, so getting back to summer, summer in Greece or Easter in Greece?
Oof. Hmm. That's a super hard one, to be
Right,
honest.
I know it is. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean to you, but yeah, it's a hard one.
So as I said, I try to come back to Greece at least 5 times a year or four, and two of those times is for sure on Christmas and on
Mm-hmm.
Easter, because for
Okay,
me it has to do with family and the Greek
sure,
tradition. So
sure.
I do enjoy that. Is it always peaceful? No. Does it come with a lot of fight? Yes, it's a Greek tradition, of course. But I cannot exclude summer. Like summer in Greece, it's something super, super special for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have to say it's a tie here. Like I cannot choose like one from the other.
That's fair. Um, for me, it would be Easter only because, as we know, I've already said I don't love summer in Greece, although I do feel like I'm missing out on a lot of things not going in summer. But oh well, there's other places and other times. Are you a coffee drinker?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so Fredo or Elinico?
In winter, Ελληνικό, κάθε
Mm-hmm.
πρωί, every morning. In summer, it's Fredo. So now
Mm-hmm.
that they started, the heat waves are coming our way. I
Yeah.
have a need to drink a Fredo, but I will
Yeah.
enjoy Ελληνικό in the morning as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Ελληνικός is the one that I like the most as a flavor,
Mm-hmm.
but also Fred Espresso is a vibe. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
also becoming more of a trend, and yeah, I stick with the traditions, of course, but I love me some Fredo in summer times as well.
Nice. Yeah, I like them both. Elinico was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but I've come to love it. And I'm still kind of unfashionable. I still like a frappe. I
Frappe.
it's not it's not a Greek vacation until I've had my first frappe.
Uh,
So
how
yeah,
would
I
you
know
drink
it's
frappe?
hmm?
How would you drink your frappe?
Oh, metrio procyclico.
Μέτρο φυσικό, μεγάλα ή χωρίς? With milk or without?
Oh, with
With
yeah.
milk,
I'm
nice.
I'm very unfashionable, but I don't care. I enjoy it.
But no, to be honest, I can totally understand why. It's super
Mhm.
tasty. Super
Yeah.
tasty. Like it kind of fall out of the trend now. It's more a
Hmm.
Freddo espresso or Freddo cappuccino.
Hmm.
But frappe, metro megala with milk, and like, yeah, I can have one anytime.
Yeah, I drink them all. I literally, I'm such a caffeine fanatic that I do. When I go there, I run through the entire. I've had every type of coffee there is to have in Greece by the time I've left several times. So I don't have a particular favorite, but those are the ones I like best, probably. Okay, ferry ride or road trip?
Hmm. For me, it's not a summer if I don't get once in a boat or in a ferry. Like I
Hmm.
love the experience. It's the most
Yeah.
pleasant one. No, it's not. It's
Hmm.
crowded, it's loud, it's windy. But it is also an experience. Like the Greek summer has to have this one ferry ride at least. So yeah, I do say that because I also love the sea.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I love a good road trip as well, especially with good company and nice music.
Hmm.
But at least for the Greek summer, I do want to get at least once in the ferry.
There's something iconic about it. Just arriving to an island by boat is just such an iconic Greek experience. And I enjoy it, especially now that I finally figured out how not to be seasick on boats. For about 20 years, I couldn't even look at a boat without feeling awful. But I finally got those, those patches that you put behind the ear.
No,
The
I
scope,
haven't heard
they're
of them.
called scopolamine or something like that. And they've been around for a long time, but I'd never tried them. And it finally, about 5 years ago, I tried them, and they are life changing. So
Good to
now I
know.
can, yeah, they're incredible. So I can do the ferry trips now. I can, go to Idra for the day or go to
Mhm.
wherever I want to go. And it was a real game changer. So I do like ferry rides, but I think for me, road trips edge out just a little bit, especially if I'm not driving. So I can just look out the window and enjoy the scenery. And I'm very fortunate in that I have a cousin that lives in Athens, and we will occasionally do road trips together. And the last one we went, it was she and her husband and I, and we went up to Epirus and Macedonia, and then down through Trikala. And so we went to the Zagorochoria and
Yes.
Yanina and all these amazing, and then very little off the beaten path places as well. And it was just that's my jam. I love that. Um,
Beautiful. It's
so,
beautiful up there. Like for sure,
oh,
if anyone has the chance to visit also those places, not just the islands, go to the mainland as well, explore those corners in Greece because it's just beautiful and majestic. Like it's a completely different
mm-hmm,
side of Greece that it's not that much shown on social media. It's not that well known, and that
mm-hmm,
makes it even more special because it's
yeah,
not so touristy. It's like Greek, real, authentic, and a completely different part. The food there is also different from the
mm-hmm,
Athens or the islands. These are,
mm-hmm,
if anyone has the chance to do those trips, of course they should do it. And Peloponnese, like I
yeah,
love Peloponnese. it has so much things to offer. Like you just get in the car and go and see as much as you can of it.
And the cool things in the Peloponnesos are not that far from each other, really. My one branch of my family comes from Arcadia,
Ah,
and right in the heart and right near the Mitsana, kind of in that area. And I love it so much. I don't think it's just one of those places in the island of Samos is like this too, because maybe because I come from there, from my family comes from there, but it's just like this soul deep feeling of when you're in that place. But I mean, there's incredible road trips you can take in the Peloponnesos. We did one of the other road trips I went to was Monemvasia and Mani,
nice,
which I
amazing.
fell in love with, and Kalamata, and then we circled back up to see family in Arcadia. But yeah, I I have two minds about telling people about the mainland because on the one hand, I would love the connoisseurs to go and enjoy it and just drink it all in. On the other part of me is kind of like I want to keep it a little bit secret. I don't want it to turn into
Gatekeeping.
the next I'm totally well, I'm not completely gatekeeping, but I'm careful about who I tell it about. But I don't want it to turn into Mykonos,
Yeah,
but
indeed,
yeah, the
indeed.
mainland is extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary, and I think it doesn't get the love it deserves in a lot of ways from the world at large. But yeah, I agree, it's fantastic. Um, do you like island hopping or staying in one place? You mentioned you love islands. Do you like to bounce around? Do you just like to plant yourself on your favorite island and stay there?
So usually I don't do island hopping. Like
Hmm.
I choose one or two islands if I have the time budget for that to say, okay, this year we visit those islands.
Hmm.
Uh, I love me some Cyclades, Cyclades because
Hmm.
of the white and blue, and I kind of want to go to those places almost each year. But in general, yeah, nice, exactly, amazing. Amazing, the Cycladic architecture. But usually I don't do island hopping. I just go and stay at the place for, let's say, 5 days a week and maybe a
Hmm.
second one. And then, of course, I have to spend some time with my family in
Hmm.
my hometown. So, yeah, it's more of like going and enjoying the place. Because if you do island hopping, and you don't have that much time, first of all, it's going to be expensive. You're going to be a lot on the way, and you're not going to take that much of the place. So maybe do a little bit less and
Hmm.
kind of take in the place, the scenery, the people, the food, instead of like changing 5 places just to say, hey, I went to 5 Greek islands this summer.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. I think for me, island hopping would only work if I had a few weeks because I like to really sit in a place and enjoy it and just kind of absorb it. So every now and then I come across, you know, posts online about, oh, I have 7 days in Greece and I'd like to go to, and then they rattle off like 4 different islands. Like, first of all, it takes a while to get from each place to each place. So yeah, I
Exactly.
agree. I prefer to kind of really get to know a place if I can. Um, Baklava or Bugata?
Bugata.
Bugata, yeah. Me too. That's my
And
favorite.
that was an easy one.
That was
I,
an easy good, yeah. But baklava is good, but it's not even in my top five. So,
indeed,
um,
indeed.
keeping with the pastry situation, sureki at Easter or mela macarona at Christmas.
Melo Macarona. it's the winner. Like it's Melo Macarona, it's like there. It's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And it's so funny because once I started getting on like Greek social media, I had no idea what anybody was talking about because in our household we call those finikia.
Ah,
I had no idea. And like, oh, when I actually saw them, we have I'm very lucky to have a Greek market not far from me. And I saw them. I'm like, oh, they're finikia, but they call them milamacano. And I'm like, oh, that's what everybody's been raving about online. So I grew up with
actually,
them. I didn't even know it.
there
So
are
I don't know if that's,
Finica and Melo Macarona. It's like two different types. Like, but it's interesting enough. Interestingly enough, the people who moved to the USA, they kind of took the language as they know it, and this is what they teach to the second and third generation. So we do come to some small differences that I find quite
yeah.
interesting. And in my opinion, the most authentic Greek recipes that I have seen online come from the diaspora. They don't come from the people that actually live now in Greece. They come from people who are second, third generation because they do the original thing from the people that moved there, let's say
Mhm.
80 years ago, and they
Right,
kept
right.
this. It's so nice.
How interesting. Um, I was telling you about my first trip to Greece and how bad my language was, but I did say something just in the line of conversation, and I can't remember. I think it was like etsida or something. I was showing something. I said etsida, and one of my cousins turned and said, "That's a very old-fashioned term. That's something like our grandmothers would have used." I'm like, "Yeah, I learned it from my grandmother." So I think there's like little nuggets of conversation or like you say, recipes that in some ways, yeah, that's very interesting that the diaspora is kind of keeping those more traditional.
They
I didn't
do.
realize that that was such an important, such a, you know, across the board thing.
And I would say that the Greek diaspora plays a huge role into keeping the Greek culture alive. You see, like in
Hmm.
the Greek diaspora, you have people, they do their Greek fests and they festivals, and they bring
Hmm.
the real thing. They have the dances. Like nowadays, I'm thinking of my nephew. I'm thinking of my little brothers. They don't
Hmm.
go like dancing traditional Greek dances. They don't do that much stuff that identify as pure Greek. They think
Oh,
like, oh, that's old fashioned. Let's go for
oh
the more,
no.
let's go for the more, let's say, globalized version of what's going on right now. But I do
Hmm.
believe that the Greek diaspora plays a huge role into keeping the Greek culture also alive.
Interesting. Yeah, because one thing that does make me very happy on Greek social media is when they show up on a panegyri or something, or show a church festival that has like the girls coming out in their traditional clothing, and like these are all young people. I'm glad they're keeping up with it, and it's not just they might go to the club and listen to whatever the top tune is right now, but they also play their grandfather's music on a bouzouki, or they do some of that. So I hope that stays. It's sad that that maybe that's starting to fade away a little bit.
It does start to fade away, but what doesn't start to fade away and it's becoming a trend, it's what you said, panegyrια. People
Ah,
love a good panegyri, and the more, let's say, kitschy it is,
mm-hmm,
the best experience. So people wait for August for the panegyri session. For the ones who don't know what panegyri is, it's like these festivals that we have, especially around the 15th of August,
mm-hmm.
which is also a religious day in Greece. So people go to the panegyria now, even younger generations, and do enjoy panegyria. But when it comes to dancing that much, or like visiting like a dancing group to learn
Mm-hmm.
those things, they don't. They don't do that much. But panegyria are a trend now.
Well, that's something at least. If people are doing that, it means the culture is staying alive in some ways. And that is one thing. That's going to be my next question. Is there one classic Greek experience you haven't done yet? Because for me, it's panegyri. I've never been, because again, most of them happen in the summer, and I don't tend to go in the summer. But is there some sort of classic Greek? And maybe you've done them all, but if you haven't, is there one that you haven't done that is on your list?
I do miss my
Climb
panegyria.
Mount Olympus? Hmm?
I although I live nearby the Mount Olympus, I haven't been up there yet. It's something that I do want to do.
Hmm.
Panegyria, I miss the panegyri because, as I said, I'm living abroad for now, and I'm not in Greece at this time.
Hmm.
So I do miss that. And I remember when I was like younger, we would go to small festivals around my hometown. We have like a pita festival where you go and like try different type of pitas. Or near Aya, you
Hmm.
have like a cherry festival, and you go and eat cherries, listen to music, and
Ah,
the
fantastic.
same like with the apple festival, apples from Zagora, from Pilio. So
Hmm.
these are things that they're like from the small community of the area, and the product that's typically from the region. They want to promote it. They make a nice celebration. This is something that I miss.
Yeah.
Something that I would also suggest to people. Like you don't have to go to the mainstream things. Just also
Hmm.
trying to find what's out there. Where can I go? And I think Taste Atlas posted recently something about the most well-known product of each region in Greece. So you have
Mm-hmm.
the apples from Zagora, you have the Kalafati cheese from Limnos, or the Graviera from Naxos.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say people look at that and like kind of try to plan your trip according to that, because you will experience the true Greek food, not like
Mm-hmm.
the fancy Instagrammable ones. And you will
Mm-hmm.
also have the chance like to also see those maybe festivities. Why not?
Oh, those are the best. Yeah, I mean, I even enjoy going to a going to the just the
Yeah.
local vegetable market or whatever. That's just
The
really fun.
farmers market, right? The
Yeah, the
Laiki.
farmers markets. Yeah, exactly. Um, what are your three favorite places to go to? I know we're time. Do you have a little bit more time, or do you have to be like
Of course.
hard out?
No,
You're
we
good?
have as much time as you want.
Okay, excellent, excellent. I didn't want to hold you up. Um, what are the three? Oh no, there's one more quickie. Do you prefer Greek radio or Greek Spotify? Do you like a playlist or do you like whatever comes on the radio?
I am the whatever comes on the radio guy.
Okay,
I am. I'm not even Spotify to be honest.
okay.
And I do love whatever comes to me. Like, sometimes I just put on the YouTube and I put
Mhm.
Anna Visi or like some
Yep.
songs that I do like, and I just
Hmm.
let YouTube be my DJ for the evening and go
Nice.
from
Yeah.
suggestion to suggestion. And I do enjoy it. I do have fun.
Good. Yeah, I have a ridiculous collection of Greek music. I don't listen to Spotify as much. I have Apple Music, but I have multiple Greek playlists, and they go everything from like Rebetika from the 30s through to like Kazantzidis from the 60s and
Right.
70s to the like Likeria in the 80s and contemporary artists now. So it's like the old villagey stuff to the, you know,
It's about
you know,
the mood and the vibe of the evening. Like just put it
100%.
on. Yeah.
100%. Um, what are three places in Greece that you love to visit that aren't necessarily where you go to visit your family? Are there three places where, those are your absolute, oh, you mentioned Crete, but is there a specific place on Crete or are there other places as well?
On Crete, like I do love Crete. If it's not clear enough, I love Hania. I love the
Mm-hmm.
beach around Hania as well. I think, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, one of the most beautiful ones. You have Falasarna. You have
Yes.
this one where you go down the hill, the Seitan Limani. It's the name.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of put your life in danger just to have the view, but it is so beautiful down there. So, like,
Yep.
for sure, Crete is one of those places. Um, Athens, I do have a special connection to Athens. I think many people say that Athens is not a beautiful city. It is objective,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, but I do believe that Athens has so much to offer, like for every different type of style, when it comes to fancy, when it comes to chill, when it comes to expensive, cheap. Like, Athens has to offer all of those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's also super well connected. So yeah, Athens would be one of those
Mm-hmm.
places. And then the next one, I don't know. I would go somewhere with nature, like maybe in a gorge or something, like in
Mm-hmm.
Zagori or in Epirus. They have also beautiful places to visit. So I don't have like a specific name that I would say go and see a little bit more of the nature. And it doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Like Pilio, for example. Pilio
Mm-hmm.
has so many nice places to offer. Also, like those little villages, kind of like Zagora, but let's
Mm-hmm.
say a little bit closer to the Aegean. And it has so many nice views and beautiful scenery, beautiful food, tasty food, and beautiful people. So yeah, I would say Pilio, Athens, and Crete.
Fantastic. Yeah, Pilion is one of the places I haven't gotten to yet that I really would love to go to. That there's Pilion, Chalkidiki, I've never been to and I'd love to go to. And I've never been to Thessaloniki, so I 100% have to go there at some point, but I just haven't made it yet.
You have to
Um,
combine those two, Thessaloniki and Halkidiki. Like
yeah,
for me,
because they're very
Thessaloniki,
close.
they're super close to each other. Thessaloniki is where I studied.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I got my degree in Greek philology, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful city. I have the feeling though that the moment I left there, like a door kind of closed for me. It was like more of
Oh,
my student life city. So I would
mm-hmm,
go back there and I will feel this nostalgia. But
mm-hmm,
I don't know if it's now in my, let's say, path, the city
mm-hmm,
where I will go and settle for now. I
mm-hmm,
prefer now bigger cities like
mm-hmm,
Athens because
mm-hmm.
it has way more things to offer.
Sure. Yeah, you mentioned that people don't, tend to not like Athens, and that hurts my heart when people say that. Um, there is so much there. There's if you even if you're not into the incredible history that's literally everywhere. You walk into a shop and there's a glass piece in the floor where you can look down and see something from 200 BC. But it's such a foodie city too. I mean, it's an amazing foodie city. It's become a really big sort of cocktail city. There's like two or three bars in Athens that are on the always make it on the top 50 best bars in the world lists and stuff like that. I did a little article about that. So yeah, I mean, there's so much. There's festivals and shopping and quiet neighborhoods and crazy neighborhoods and just it's just everything. And it really bothers me when people don't give Athens the credit it deserves and just have it be kind of a launching pad to get them to somewhere else.
Yes,
It's a
I
shame.
completely agree with you. And people say that Athens is going to be the next European hub, not just because we are Greek, right? But
Mhm,
I do believe that Athens has the potential, and it doesn't have to be extremely fancy and get full of resorts and stuff. Like
mhm,
Athens is authentic. I think it's the most ancient city in Europe.
mhm,
So it has a lot of history. Just with that, you do understand how many options you have by just visiting the city. You don't come to Greece for architecture, at least anymore,
mhm.
but just also those buildings from back then that they tore everything down and they started building those block of flats. It makes it unique in my eyes, and it's a
Mhm.
nice place. It has everything to offer.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Like I said, I'm fortunate. One of my cousins lives there, so I get to spend a lot of time there, and I have friends there and cousins and everything. So it's pretty great. Uh, why don't you let the audience know what where they can find you on social media, what you're doing? I'll put them in the comments below as well. But why don't you let people know where to find you in case they want to take your classes, follow you on socials, etc.
Sure. So basically, where you can find me, where I'm the most active, is on Instagram. It's at greek.language.academy, Greek Language
Hmm.
Academy. If you know more people who are interested in learning Greek, learning more about the Greek language and the culture, put the word out there. It's the Greek Language Academy. You can follow me on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. We are
Hmm.
kind of active on Facebook too. One of the projects is to also launch on YouTube. It has to wait a little bit, but the
Hmm.
most active one account is on Instagram. So yeah, Greek Language Academy with dot between the words.
Fantastic. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today and for making Greek feel a little bit more accessible, I think, for a lot of people. It's been so much fun for me. I really enjoyed doing this. I'm so glad that we connected.
Barbara, thank you for having me. I also enjoyed it a lot. You are an amazing person. You have a super nice vibe. I haven't met you
Thank
in
you.
person, but you say that you come often to Athens. Maybe our ways will meet in Athens. Who knows?
You know
But
what?
thank you very
I'm
much for the
hoping,
interview.
yeah, I'm hoping maybe fingers crossed next spring. So I'll let you know. And if our paths cross, I'll take you, get you some coffee, get you an Aliniko or
And
a
then we go
cocktail.
on a frappe. Awesome. Thank you,
So it's
Barbara. Thank you very
fantastic.
much.
You're welcome. And if folks watching, if you want to start learning Greek or just want to enjoy more of Alex's fantastic content, make sure to check out the Greek Language Academy across all the platforms that he just mentioned. Well, like I said, the links are going to be below, as well as links to my channel and the Greekish Life website, which I do hope you check out. We've got a little travel, we've got culture, we've got books and music, all kinds of stuff. If you enjoyed this conversation, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share and do all the things. And again, Alex, thank you very much. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Γεια σου, Barbara. Γεια σου.
Be well. Bye bye, my friend.
You too, bye.